Greetings, ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to a pair of games from the T67, one of the Tier 5 American tank destroyers. This is the machine that used to, back in the dawn of time, used to be known as the T49, before the introduction of the new light tanks, with a new American light tank that was named the T49, and thus this thing got a bit of a makeover. Rebranded somewhat. So I'm going to show you two games here. In this first game, we are in a Tier 5 game, so Tier 5 machine, Tier 5 game, very nice matchmaking indeed. We're top tier, so hopefully we should be able to do well. And this machine is considered by many to be, well, certainly when it was the T49, and I don't think much has changed when it became the T67, this machine was regarded as being a little bit overpowered. Why overpowered? Well, it combined good mobility with excellent camo rating and a pretty good gun. Sounds like a nice combination, doesn't it? Especially for a tank destroyer. And it is a very nice combination. I will happily tell you that it is a nice combo. So we are here on Muravanka, formerly home of the Magic Forest. This is, of course, this is a patch 9.3 game, so this is after the death of the Magic Forest. After this map got a bit of a revamp, got enlarged, I believe, and they changed it somewhat so that it was pretty much, to all intents and purposes, a completely different map. Anyway, to the game in hand. We have thus far lost 3 Tier 5s, and they've lost 1 Tier 5. Oh, 2 Tier 5s. Oh, no, there we go, pull it back. Each side has lost 3 top tier tanks. I mean, well, this is a Tier 5 game, there are a lot of Tier 5s in this game, so it's not the best matchmaking you can get in the T67, but it's pretty darn good. And there's a VK. And the thing with the gun on this tank is that it's a good gun. I mean, it's the 76mm M1 A1 gun that you get on the Sherman tanks. It's the tank destroyer version. So you get, you know, your 128 penetration, 115 average damage, which is respectable at Tier 5. It's the same gun that you get on the Tier 5 Sherman. Difference is that on the T67 you get a much higher rate of fire. And you do get better accuracy, although the accuracy on the T67 still lets it down. And as you can see here, we are struggling on the side of an AT2, so we switched to a round of APCR to finish him off. And one thing that's worth noting about this tank is that actually your ammo count is not massive. This can become especially problematic in those Tier 7 games where you have to make those shots count in order to do anything. And you can see already the scoreline's 8 kills to 9, and we've barely had a chance to do a great deal of much. Anyway, so because of that limited ammo count, it's advisable to carry a few rounds of APCR. Because sometimes you need those shots to count, and if you just keep firing AP at the target, you're going to run out of ammo. And on the high explosive front, a round or two, fair enough, but don't go overboard on it. Now, we're just trying to get a shot on that SU-85. Don't have great gun depression, but there's one shot into him. Someone else shot him, and we polish him off, leaving the scoreline 9 kills to 11. Trying to get a shot on that Panzer IV, but yeah, that shot was never going to hit, and that was just a bit painful. So, they're currently capping, and our team has basically collapsed. Thus far, we have picked up 2 kills. We haven't done a phenomenal amount of damage, but we've picked up 2 kills. I mean, when I played this game, I wasn't that familiar with the new Muravanka. So I went to a spot that I would have gone for the old Muravanka and hoped that it was still going to work out. We managed to take out that Panzer IV, but alas, we've lost our Panzer IV as well to that Churchill. Now, I'm going to try and give our Stug 3 some help, because there's only the 2 of us left, and we're going to need all the help we can get to win this. So put a shot into the Chinook, but he backs off. So we know where the Churchill and the Chinook are. We've probably got a pretty good idea of where their artillery is, you know, somewhere in the vicinity of their base. So the only real mystery is the T67, and actually I think I took a shot at the T67 earlier on. in the what used to be the Magic Forest, so I think he's over there, and indeed he is currently right behind us. So I'm spinning around as fast as I can, but this is not a medium tank, it's a tank destroyer, and so the traverse speed is not the best. 2 shots into him, third will kill him, there we go, but their bishop takes off a lot of health. T67 is not endowed with a lot of HP. Thankfully the other artillery shot misses us, so let's move. We can't hang around there too often. Let's finally use the really nice mobility of this tank to get around. And so we do. Chinu behind us, we've swapped out to high explosive. My logic was because if I face the artillery I will do more damage with HE, but to be fair, one of them's a Wesp, against which that could be true, provided the shot were well aimed, but the Bishop's based on the chassis of a Valentine, so that can be a right nuisance to penetrate. Anyway, as it stands, it's 1 plays 4. This is going to be a bit of an awkward game. Now, if the enemy artillery has any sense, they will probably be expecting me to come for them. Whether or not they do have any sense remains to be seen, but if they do, that's probably what they will be expecting, because their Chinu spotted me running away, and I haven't been spotted near the cap circle in a while. And you can see here, sorry, just mentioning the mobility, we're bombing it along at around 60 kph. Which is pretty respectable. In fact, it's very, very nippy for a tank destroyer. For any machine, really. And they're capping our base, and there's the Vesp. Try to come over the rise of that hill. 1 shot in. I'm going to reload long before he gets an effective shot off. And there's kill number 5, and now we need to get moving again, because we do not want to get shot by anybody. So, that Churchill's on a few hundred health, last I remember. That Chinu was on maybe about 200, so he's a 1 or a 2 shot kill. And that Bishop is likely on full health. So my plan is to try and nail that Bishop, and then swing round, try and get some vision on the capture circle and pour some fire into it. The problem with that is that since they changed this map, it is much harder to get shots into the capture circle from distance, and it was basically done because there was especially positions on the north of this map, around about where I am now, that were very powerful, in particular in the encounter game mode, and just bogs the game down a lot. But, you know, as I'm currently in a tank destroyer, I wouldn't mind having a bit of that right now. But never mind, there we go. Oh, good lord, there's the Bishop. He's not looking at me. 1 shot into him. 2nd shot into him. I think he fired and missed. 3rd shot. Missed him. And the Chinu, alas, polishes me off. When I played this game, I really was just having one of those days. It didn't matter what I did. It just wasn't enough to pull my team over the finishing line. So that ended up being 5 kills, a respectable amount of damage, bearing in mind it's only a tier 5 game and we have 360 health. I think I picked up a high caliber for that game, and the fact that we came out still on the losing end was a little bit depressing, but there we go, never mind. So, we're going to switch from that to a game which is... well, it's got a happier ending, that's not really spoiling much. So, take a look at the post-battle results, and then we'll move to game number 2. Okay, here we go with game number 2. This time we're not top tier, it's a tier 6 game, and it is a very tier 6 game. There's a lot of tier 6s on each side. In fact, I think the enemy team even has one more tier 6 than us. Yup, but to counterbalance it, they also have one more tier 4 than us, so, you know, swings and roundabouts. Matchmaker's done a respectable job there. It's even done a reasonable job balancing the different tank types. So, as you can see, I'm in a platoon. I am platooned with Sam. He is trying his hand out at some light tanks. and he's decided to go down the German light tank line. Previously, the only light tanks he's played have been the British light tanks, and well, you can't exactly call them scout tanks at all. You know, they don't even get scout matchmaking. So the Lux is the first tank that he's played with any sort of scout matchmaking. So he's giving that a go now. I come over here onto the flank. This is a spot I like to take up. You know, you get some spots off. You'll have seen me come up here, especially in light and medium tanks before. But in turreted tank destroyers it can also work out. And primarily I come up here to do some spotting and kind of harassing of people. So you saw I got a shot into that Cromwell, and I didn't manage to finish him off, but I got a shot into that A43. So that's a couple of shots so far on higher tier tanks, on tier 6 machines. And there's that Cromwell again. And we put another shot in him. Nice high damage roll for 130. As I say, the average damage on this gun is, I believe, 115. Yep, 115. So that was a nice damage roll. And while he's distracted, we'll nail the kill. So that's a nice start. We're winning 3-2. And I have picked up a kill. Oh god, we take pain there. On a Cromwell. Now I took a shot. I risked poking up to try and put a return shot into that Marder. It was a bit of a risk. One of the enemy TDs up on that hill, like that Hellcat, could have ended my little adventure. Or, yeah, he could have ended my little adventure. So you could argue as to whether or not that was the right course of action, but it's the course of action I chose. And you can see here that I don't have Sixth Sense or anything on this crew for this tank. Ooh, there's the enemy Hellcat. And this machine really would benefit from Sixth Sense. So our team is currently 7-5 the better. And Sam is just trying to make some opportunities happen. He wasn't having much success where he was, so he switched flanks, essentially. Put a couple of shots into that KV-85, and then we pull back. Don't really want to take much in the way of return fire. Although that KV-85 is taking a lot of pain now. Oh, he's on fire, and he's down. There's the Hellcat that was up on the ridge from earlier on, so I don't have to worry about him. Oh, he's got the 76mm gun. I put a shot into him, though. Type 58 takes out the Leopard. And I load high explosive for this Hellcat. 168 penetrating HE round. Hellcat misses me. I miss my HE round on him, alas. Slow turret reverse. And set him on fire and burn him to death for the kill. That never gets old. Oh, SU-100. Oh, the rear of an SU-100 in the background. One shot onto him. Can I put in another one? For some reason I back off. Oh, bounce on the KV-1, and now I need to move. I say for some reason I back off. I think it's because I noticed the KV-1 was looking at me. I now can't afford to take any more hits. I've traded away all the health that I can. Ah, alas. Sam goes down, taken out by that Chaffee. Damage the tracks on that SU-100. Really want that T-34-85 to sod off from that position because he's just blocking me in there. Chaffee's poking his nose up. Ah, T-34-85 finishes him off. And there's just the SU-100 over here, an SU-100Y, and the artillery remaining. So we just lost our Type 58, but T-34 nailed their SU-100, Hellcat nailed their SU-100Y, and that just leaves their Sturmpanzer II. So just try and chase that down, go to a likely position.
5-minute warning.
There he is. And Hellcat nails him. And that was the game. Nothing spectacular, but a fun little game. And I thought after showing you the kind of slightly depressing previous game, it'd be nice to show you one with a bit of a happier ending. So there we go. Hope you guys enjoyed those two little games in the T67. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel, and I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao ciao.